Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we'll be doing a full body yoga routine. So when you guys are ready, you can meet me at the bottom of your mat. We'll start off in a child's pose. So with your knees as wide as your mat and your toes touching, we're going to lay our arms out in front of us, sinking our chest and our head all the way down to the mat. As we rest it down, let's just hold this pose for a few breaths, settling into our practice. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, feeling your lungs expand, your rib cage stretch out, and just relaxing as we sigh all that air out of our mouth. Maybe if you're upward, you can start by spider coiling your fingers just a little bit forward, getting a nice stretch in your spine, getting it nice and elongated. You feel our back and our shoulder muscles stretch out. Then getting a nice firm grip on your mat, we're going to push our whole upper bodies up, coming into a tabletop position with our shoulders above our hands, knees below our hips. And we're just going to go into some circular motions with our upper bodies, getting our wrists nice and warmed up, really going into nice, big, exaggerated circles, getting as much movement as we can, starting in the one direction before changing over and moving in the other direction. And coming back to stillness in a centered position, and take a deep breath in, lifting our chins up, dipping our bellies down. And then as we exhale, bringing chin to chest, rounding our backs out. Breathing in to lift our heads up. And exhaling, rounding our backs out. Going through one more round. And the last one, you can come back to a neutral spine. Starting with our right leg now, we're going to stretch it out so our toes are still just above the mat. We're lifting our foot up, bringing our heel in line with our spine. And then with our left hand, we're going to stretch it out, reaching as far forward as we can, getting our heel and our fingers in one line together, taking a deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to bring our elbow to our knee, getting a nice crunching motion going with our stomachs before inhaling as we open back out. Exhale to crunch and inhale to open. So one more. And we can bring our hands and our knees back down to the mat as we move on to the other side. Left leg going out, getting a nice stretch in our back legs with our toes just hovering off the mat before lifting it up, bringing it in line with our spine, and then our right hand coming up, fingers pointing out in front of us, taking a nice deep inhale for exhaling, bring our to knee. one last round. Before coming back in our tabletop position. Then, keeping our knees bent, we're going to start with our right leg, lifting it up to the side like we're a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. We're going to paint some nice big circles with our knees. Going in one direction, we circle our knee away from our bodies. Really feeling a nice stretch in your hips and your hip socket before changing over into the other direction. Finally, you can bring your right foot over to your right hand, placing it on the outside of the mat. And with your back leg, you can straighten it out a little bit as you come into a lizard stretch. From here, you have a couple options. First off, you can either keep your knee down for passive lizard, or you can lift your knee up for a more active variation. And you can either keep your hands planted on the mat, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can turn your body to the left side of the mat, bringing your elbows to the left corner. Really want to feel a nice deep stretch in both our legs and our hip joints and sockets. And we're just going to stay in this position for a few breaths. Placing our palms back down on the mat. Bringing our right knee back down as we move on to the other side. Starting with our left leg, lifting it up to the side. And then we're just going to paint some nice big circles with our knee. Really trying to exaggerate that movement, get some nice stretches going. And finally changing over into the opposite way. Or finally placing your foot down next to your left hand. And if you do it on the other side, you can straighten your back leg, either keeping the knee on the ground or lifting it up. And then bringing your elbows down to the right corner of the mat. You go a little bit deeper into the pose. Arms to mats. Bring our upper bodies up. And we're going to keep our back legs straight as we bring our left foot over to the right, getting a nice plank position. Hovering here for a breath in. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift our hips up and push back into our downward facing dog. From here, you can just pedal your dog out, bending one leg at a time, feeling some nice stretches in your calves. Or finally, you can meet into stillness as we get ready for our flow. Starting with your right leg, taking a deep breath in, keeping your legs straight, lifting it up high as you can for a three-legged dog. As you exhale, placing your foot between your hands as we bring our upper bodies up for a high crescent lunge. Lifting our hands up above our head, squaring out our hips, knee above our ankle. Holding for a breath in. Then as we exhale, twisting our bodies to the left, bringing our back heel down, opening our arms out to the sides, getting a nice straight line for a warrior two. Then flipping our front palm, slightly bending our bodies forward as we bring our hand up and over our head as we reverse our warrior. Then with our left hand, we can either place it on our back leg or maybe take half a bind behind our back. Holding for a breath. Coming back up into a warrior two. From our warrior two, we're going to place our hands behind our back, clasping them and pulling our shoulders back as far as we can, lifting our head up, taking a deep breath in, and as we exhale, bending our whole upper bodies forward as we go into a humble warrior. From our humble warrior, bringing our left hand down, twisting our back heel up, and raising our right hand up to the sky for an easy twist. And if your neck feels comfortable for it, you can maybe even twist your head looking up towards your right hand. Bring your right hand down, kicking your right leg back into a high plank, and take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to chaturanga down, bring our whole bodies all the way down to the mat, and tucking our toes. And taking an inhale, we can either lift our bodies up for baby cobra, hovering our hands off the mat, or just pushing our whole bodies up for regular cobra. Then tucking our toes, lifting our hips up as we exhale back into our downward facing dog. Moving on to the other side, left leg going up, keeping it nice and straight. Exhaling, foot between the hands, pushing up to our high crescent lunge. Twisting our bodies to the right, bringing our back heel down, so front and back heel are in line. We open up into our warrior two. Stepping the front palm, throwing it over our head as we reverse our warrior, either taking a bind with our right hand or laying our hand on the back of our back leg. Move back into warrior two, hands clasping behind our back, opening our chest out, looking up to the sky. So take a deep inhale, finally exhaling, bringing our chest down to the mat as we humble our warrior. Then right hand down to the mat, lifting our back heel as we lift our left hand up to the sky for a twist. Finally, hands down to mat. We come into a high plank. And then exhale as we lower down. Inhale to go for a back bend. Before exhaling back into our downward facing dog. And from our down dog, just slowly walk your feet towards your hands at the top of the mat. You can meet me in a forward fold, letting your whole body hang, swaying it from side to side. Maybe even grab up opposite elbows for a ragdoll. Being a nice release in your lower back. And releasing your elbows if you're holding them. We're going to go to a halfway lift. So taking a deep breath in, placing our hands on our shins, lifting our bodies up halfway, keeping our back nice and straight. And then as we exhale, we're going to grab the back of our legs, pulling our whole upper bodies as close to our knees as possible before releasing and relaxing. Then slowly we're going to start rolling our upper bodies up, going up one vertebra at a time, keeping your chin tucked towards your chest. You can meet me in a standing position of a Tadasana, rolling your shoulders back, palms facing forward. You can just close your eyes as we take a few breaths here, feeling our feet nice and grounded to the earth. You can gently open your eyes up, taking your hands, placing the palms of your hands on your lower back with your fingers pointing down. We're going to bend our knees, letting our head hang back. You push our hips forward, giving ourselves a nice little gentle back bend. Coming back up straight. Keeping your eyes open, lift your hands up above your head. We're going to go into a chair pose. So you can either keep your feet slightly apart, or for a little bit more stability, you can keep your feet together. We're just going to lower our hips down, watching to make sure our knees don't go past our toes. We just go and sit as low as we can. And then when we reach our limit, we can bring our hands over to our chest in a prayer position, holding for breath, before twisting ourselves over to the right. Bring our left elbow to our right knee, and we go into a nice little chair twist. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can maybe open your hands out to the sides as we open up for our chair. Holding for breath. Coming back to center and coming into a forward fold. Moving on to the other side. Once more, bending our hips down, bringing our hands up above our heads, and then bringing our hands down to heart center, twisting over to the right now, right elbow to left knee. Get a nice little spinal twist going. And if you did on the other side, you can maybe open your hands up and out. Finally, coming back to center and just releasing back down. Great stuff. Now we can go meeting in the center of your mat. We're just going to sink our hips down with our feet slightly wider than our hips. You come into a yogi squat. Hands on our elbows on our knees, palms together. You're going to push our legs out to the sides. You just close our eyes and just hold here for a few breaths. Focusing on our breath and keeping our minds nice and clear. Opening your eyes up again. Then go into a side lunge. So putting all your weight onto your right foot, hands down onto the ground, and kick your left foot out as far as it can go, straightening your leg. And if you can, you can try and bring your right heel as close to the ground as possible while maintaining your balance. If you can't, that's fine. Just go as deep as you can. Shifting your weight, we're going to move on to the other side, placing all the weights over to the left, and then straightening our right leg, toes pointing up to the sky, as we just settle in, focusing on our breath and breathing into the stretch. Bring your leg back to the center, and you can now meet me lying on your backs with your legs nice and straight. From here, we can bring our right leg up and over to our chest, keeping our left leg straight. Just hug our knee into our chest. We can maybe even just paint some circles with our knee, feeling a nice massage going in our hip sockets. Going in one direction before changing over into the other. Before swapping over to the other leg. Left knee coming to your chest, hugging it nice and tight. Painting some nice little circles, using your knee like a little paintbrush. Changing over into the other direction. From there, you can bring your right knee up and keep it bent with your bottom of your foot on the ground. You can place your left ankle onto your right knee, so you make a figure four shape with your legs. And then bring your right leg up, grabbing the back of your knee. I'm just gonna hug our knee in this position for releasing and letting our whole lower body swing over to the right, bringing our right knee and our left foot down for a variation of a twist. You can open your arms out to the sides for a bit of balance. And if your neck feels okay, you can twist and look over to the left. Twist your head, look up to center again. You can bring our legs back up as we swap on over to the other side. Right ankle onto left knee, grabbing the back of our knees and hugging our legs into our chest. Or just releasing, opening our hands out to the side and letting our legs fall down to the left. And once more, if your neck feels fine, twisting and looking to the right. Head down to center, bring our legs back. Let's move on to our last pose of our practice. Keeping our knees bent, feet together. We're going to go into a bridge pose. So making sure your ankles are close enough that you can touch them with your fingers. And then starting off with your lower back, making sure your chin is nice and tucked into your chest. We're going to start lifting our backs up, starting with our lower back, and then going up with our spine, one vertebra at a time, until our whole upper body is in line with our knees. And then from here, you have a couple of choices. You can either keep your position, making sure your knees are nice and close together, maybe even grasping your hands below your back. And if you maybe can and you want to, lifting your heels up and going onto your tippy toes. Just get a nice deeper stretch going. And you can release your hands, bring your heels back down as we lower our whole bodies and back onto the mat. And from here, we can go into our Shavasana. So straighten your legs out, letting your feet flop to the sides, palms facing up or down, doesn't really matter. And we just lay here, clearing our minds, letting our whole bodies relax as we feel the weight of the whole earth pressing down on us. Focusing on our breath, taking some nice deep inhales and exhales. Just feel ourselves drift away. Introducing some movement back into your body. Not maybe wiggling your fingers, your toes, shaking your head from side to side. Just gently waking up from our Shavasana. Maybe moving our wrists, and our ankles, knees and elbows. And we can lift our hands up above our head, grasping our hands, getting a nice full body stretch, as if we're just waking up in the morning, either staying on the mat, or you can maybe in a seated position with your eyes still closed. We come in either cross-legged or sitting on our shins. Bring our palms together as we just take a nice deep breath in together one last time. And as we exhale, we can bow as we close our practice. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you found some benefits. And once more, I hope to see you guys again next time on the yoga mat.